We do B plus work with an A plus customer experience. We're not focused on A plus work.
Hey guys, Austin Cook here at the Tinstitute.
Meet Austin Cook, who, if you don't already know him, might just change your business and your life.
Start listening to books as early as possible. Don't go one more day without listening to books. That's what changed my business.
You do not need to use water.
His business, Quality Tint and Science in California, his presence also built online. He's the face of Tinstitute.com and has about 155,000 followers on Instagram.
Our whole business model strategy is to make people feel good. Why? Because most people don't focus on that, and it's free. That's the best marketing. It's free to make someone feel good. Look at that.
And for detailers who want to hire, Austin has advice for how to make employees or team members feel good too.
The number one thing team members want in the work environment is to feel appreciated and be respected.
This Nick at Night interview might have been my favorite to record. I am fired up, partly because of Austin's love for books.
Everything you need to know is in a book somewhere. You just have to find that book. Books are insane value. Like my favorite books, I'm not even kidding, I would pay $15,000 for, $20,000, all day long. Like change my life.
It's still gonna take practice.
So if you want to learn more about business, leadership, and life, stay tuned.
Don't do one more car without filming it, because the video you get forever.
As Austin shares his wins and losses along the way.
That's a mistake I made so many times. That's a mistake I made so many times. Feel free to ask me whatever you want. I pride myself in my personal life and in all of my businesses on like massive transparency. Like no one runs their businesses as transparent as I do.
Well, I have a lot of questions for you. I've been following you on Instagram as the Tinstitute for a while now. I think maybe we should start with your origin story.
Okay, awesome. So as far as like me being 19, I'm 37 now, right? 19 years old, I was going to junior college and I knew I didn't want to go to college. I never wanted to go to college, not even when I was in high school. And then first year of junior college, I was just there to, show my mom that I was willing to try and to figure out what I was going to do. I knew I was going to be a business owner, but I didn't have any skills. So I'm like, what can I really do? I'm trying to figure out, even in my head, I can remember like, I know I want to be a business owner. I know I'm different, but I don't have any skills. So I go to work for a landscaping company and I'm like, okay, this makes sense. Like I could dig holes and I can understand landscaping and I can learn how to do a landscape estimate. So I had it in my head that I was going to start a landscaping company. And the guy I was working for, he said that if I had a truck, he could pay me a little bit more. Well, as a 19-year-old, that was my justification to go buy a brand new truck. Stupid. But I bought the brand new truck. And the first stop, and it was always the first stop when I got a new car in my possession, the tint shop. So I did some research on Google and I chose a tint shop and I had the driver passenger windows tinted. And he told me it would be $75 and it took him 30 minutes to do it. And I watched him do it. And right then and there, I was like, skirt, not doing landscaping. I like this. Like he's clean. I like the process. We're inside an AC shop. It was a very small shop. It was 1,000 square feet, but he kept it really nice, checkered floor. You could tell he cared. There was pride of ownership in the shop. You know what I mean? Like nowadays, cool shops with social media are like everywhere. But like back then it was like, the average tint shop looked like the average body shop where, boxes and trash everywhere. And, there was nothing to look at. That's how it was at all the shops I went to in high school. So this was like, oh, this is cool. So I asked him if he would teach me how to tint. And he he chuckled at me, which I totally understand. Now he's like, it's not that easy. It's harder than you think. Well, I ended up going home. He called me back 2 weeks later and he said, look, you were in here a couple weeks ago. You said you wanted to tint. You still want to learn how to tint? And I said, yeah, absolutely. He said, well, I will teach you how to tint under one condition. And I said, what's that? He said, you got to buy the whole business. And I was like, okay. And I already knew it was a really small company because I sat there with him for a half hour, 45 minutes and, talked to him while he tinted my truck. And so I got to know him and his wife because it was just him and his wife. And he had 2 young kids running around. So I was like, this is perfect. I can wrap my head around running this even though I had no skills. I need to learn how to tint. And then, giving an estimate is as easy as looking at their car and giving an estimate. So it was like something I could see myself doing. which is why I'm still so passionate about helping people like me who have the entrepreneurial spirit but don't have any real skills. Like my wife has all the skills. She went to college. She graduated second in her class in 3 years in economics. So not German polka history, like as Dave Ramsey says, like in a legitimate degree, graduated second in her class with a 4.2, partied just like all the other sorority girls. And she has all the skills. Like she has all the book smarts. She can do anything on a computer. And she has one of the best overarching skills. And that is, if she doesn't know how to do something, she can just teach herself how to do something specific to tech. Anything tech, she can just teach herself how to do. I mean, she taught herself Adobe Illustrator. She taught herself Flexi as far as what our printer runs off of. Any program she can teach herself how to use, if not build. I mean, she can literally build an app. So anyways.
So you have a good teammate.
Yeah. Oh, great. Yin and yang. Like we were like, literally, I have all the skills she doesn't have, and she has all the skills I don't have. And we like it that way.
I have a lot of questions there too, but I also want to, okay, let's keep the linear chronological. So you're talking to this guy. He's like, yeah, I'll teach you how to tint, but you got to buy the business.
I was like, okay, I'm coming down. I went down and talked to him like right then and there. I came down, talked to him. He's like, yeah, here's the thing is I just went through a divorce not that long ago. And my ex-wife moved to Madison, Wisconsin, and she took my 8-year-old son with her. So I don't want to sell the business. I've been doing this for 8-9 years, but if I could sell it, I want to get out next to him, my son. So I was like, perfect reason to sell. He's not trying to dump something he doesn't want. By the way, keep in mind, I just chose him after doing a quick Google search. So I chose him as a customer, and he doesn't want to sell. His hand's being forced, so to speak. I could wrap my head around. Everything's all set up. So I'm liking the fact that he could just hand off the baton and I just have to keep it going. And so very soon, probably that same day, I call my mom. And keep in mind, I'm 19 and I'm in college, junior college. I call her.
What are you studying at this time? Or are you just doing general?
Construction management.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking construction, but I'm like, this is way too much tech and skills for me and too much book stuff. Like even when I was in construction class, I was like, God, I don't know if I could do this. Like there's just, I even to this day, like I rarely touch a computer. I mean, like to get this Zoom set up, there's 3 or 4 people running around with cameras and setting me up, and they just put me down here in the chair and tell me where to look. Like I don't touch a computer. The most I do is Instagram. You know, I DM and I DM everyone that DMs us, and I, you know, use Instagram. But
well, that's where I found you, following you as a, and I know now that you're a very successful business owner and coach, but where I feel like you got a lot of traction, where I picked up on your channel early on, was you teaching people how to tint cars. You're very charismatic on camera. And for someone who maybe kind of stumbled into this tint business, which I know you're kind of telling your origin story, you seemed really passionate about teaching the craft of tinting. And that's what I've done so many videos about detailing, Austin, but the ones that people love is when you're in the trenches showing them how to do the thing, where they can tell that you really know what this craft is all about. Even though there's so much more to talk about, when you're showing them how to tint the passenger side of a certain make and model, it seems like those are the videos that people really love.
Especially in our industry, meaning auto restyling industry, auto maintenance industry. People think that to grow a bigger business or to become more successful, they have to be a better tinter. They have to be a better detailer. And I tell people I'm coaching, you don't have to get any better at detailing. McDonald's does not have the best burger. That's not what makes them successful. And everyone just gravitates towards being a quality shop. It's just like something you're supposed to do, right? Like be a quality shop. It's like, but why? It's okay if that's strategically planned, but there's nothing wrong with being the affordable cheap shop if that's intentionally strategically planned. If you're just coming down on price just because you don't know how else to get a job, that's not okay either. But I'm really encouraging people to be strategic with making a business strategy. What are you going to do to be different from your competition? Because most people don't know the answer to that question. We all know in our heart what makes us different. But if you ask 99% of shop owners what makes them different, they all say the same thing. our quality and our customer experience. It's just what you're supposed to say. It's the only thing I know to say. So we just say that. And it's like, let me ask you this. What do you think your competition would say if I called them right now and asked them what makes them different? Our quality and our experience. That's just what we're supposed to say. That's all we know to say. So I agree with you that a lot of people are gravitated towards the installation content, because I think that they're under the impression that to make more money and be more successful, we have to have a better hamburger. And I always say that the restaurant that has the best burger, we don't even know their name. We know McDonald's name. We know In-N-Out Burger if you're here on the West Coast. We don't know the white tablecloth luxury restaurant name on a nationwide level. They're not the most successful restaurant. So to scale, to build a life that most people desire to have, yes, you have to be able to do installations, but it's not about being the best installer. I've said it a million times. I am not the best installer. I don't even want to be. I don't take pride in being the best installer. And I'm not going to say I'm the best business person, but I pride myself on my business sense, not my installation skills. Here at my brick and mortar shop, we really stress the fact that we do B+ work with an A+ customer experience. We're not focused on A+ work.
Wow, I've never heard someone say it quite like that. And is B+ enough for people? I mean, because I always try to give detailers the sense of when is it okay to stop? What is perfectly, and if you're an enthusiast at home and you're cleaning your own car, you know when it's acceptable to stop because it's when you're happy. But so many detailers are trying to make the customer happy by making themselves happy, and their version of satisfied is different than the customers. And I love that vision of B+. What does that mean to you? B+, quality of work, and then A+ service or customer experience.
Yeah. So to answer the question, is B+ enough? That depends on how good the service was. Our thought is if we can make every customer like us as much as our own mother likes us, they love B+ work. Because if we did something for our moms, they're not going to complain even when they see the flaw. They don't want to complain. They want Nick to win. Like, I like this guy so much, I'm rooting for him. I don't want to be a problem to his company. So I see it. I love it because I love Nick. I love Austin. So I love it. It's great because of the way they treated me. So the idea, there's probably a better way to put this, but the idea is to treat them so well, make them feel so good that they turn a blind eye to flaws. And that's what customers did with Teslas. Teslas are not the best created car, but that's not why you buy a Tesla. You buy a Tesla because you like Elon Musk and you want to be in the Tesla crew, the Tesla club, Tesla cult, whatever you want to call it. You want to hang out at the charging station. And then the last thing, they do a B+ car. But the panels don't line up perfectly. The paint's not perfect.
The interiors are trash. Like,
a lot of times when you point that out to a Tesla customer, they go, yeah, I'm not worried about that. I love my Tesla.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's our strategy. And the reason why that's our strategy is because it's very hard to scale doing A+ work. Everyone, I think, knows that because it's hard to get people to care so much that they're going to put as much effort into it as you are as the owner, for one. But for two, it's just not profitable to polish out a paint job and then do the finishing polish or cut, and then do the finishing polish and then go, you know what? I want to cut it again. I want to go deeper. That's not profitable. So I'm trying to be the most profitable so that I could provide more for my team and provide more for my customers.
So let's talk about how you implemented that. You buy this business. You're enthusiastic about tinting, but it's not like you spent your whole life up to that point thinking I want to own a tint company. So what are some of the things that you did along the way that you like to highlight? Mistakes made, successes, just, I know it's kind of we could go a mile deep if you want, or we could go an inch deep on some of the stuff. I know you've told your story before, but for the audience out there, what are some of the highlights that you think, if they're thinking, this is maybe a detailing crowd, but maybe the Tinstitute folks are following too. Just successes, failures along the way that you think are good that folks can learn from.
So number one thing, if I only had a few minutes to talk to my kids, start listening to books as early as possible. Don't go one more day without listening to books. That's what changed my business. Is when
What
I
kind of
started
books?
educational business books, personal development books, financial books, financial literacy. Here's like a couple things. I love that question, by the way. Okay. Don't go one more day without listening to an educational book. Specifically, the first book I ever picked up was a Dave Ramsey recommendation, and it's The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And it talks about just making little changes, but over a long period of time. So I took that idea and applied that idea to books. So I just said, I'm going to listen to a book every day for 30 minutes every day, which was my drive to work. And I still do that to this day. Like, I don't listen to music in my cars. I'll listen to music when I'm horseback. I'll listen to music other times, but I only listen to books when I'm in my car. I happen to have a 20-minute commute to work, to the shop.
Podcast versus book. I know this is like a
books.
just
Podcasts
books.
are good, but books. Why? Because we can go on a tangent, and podcasts, there's a lot of educational. And here's the thing. This podcast is not going to have to run through an editor. You're not having to go through a third-party person that's saying, is this good enough for me to publish? A book is real. A real book means that, and what do I mean by that specifically? Like, podcasts are obviously real, but you're not going through a publisher that's saying, yes, this is going to sell. This is good value. We can put this price tag on this, and I'm willing to go out and market this book and spend money on a book tour because this podcast is so good. Like, you know what I mean? Anyone can post a podcast.
It's distilled, right? It's like it made it to the level of, it's almost like if there's been wisdom around for 2,000 years, it's made it this long. It's probably, there's wisdom that's made it this far. It's probably worth listening to. I get what you're saying with the books. Yeah. Okay.
So in addition to that, I'm huge on listening to books, not reading. Why? It's the difference between talking to someone on the phone and getting their enthusiasm and their tonality and their delivery versus reading an email. I don't like reading books. For one, I can't read. But for two, even if I could read, it's like reading an email. When I read something, I'm reading it through my tone, through my tonality. And that's a lack of my skill of reading. But even still, when you listen to an author read their own book, you get so much more value. So I'm huge on listening to books. I'm also huge on listening to books because it allows you to just listen to way more books. If every time I had to sit down and read, I would have no time to listen or read a book. So by listening, I can do it while I'm driving. I'm killing two birds with one stone. I'm making it to work and listening to a book at the same time.
I like listening to books too, but I hate it when books get like, I listen to a self-help book and if it's boring, sometimes I need the energy on the drive. Like, how do you determine if the book is going to make it? Like, how do you, because I almost want to ask just ChatGPT. Like, me trying to use my own intuition to find books, it's still like an imperfect system, Austin. And I want to have amazing books. There's so many, right? We can stand on the shoulders of giants by listening or reading to books. I just want my book selection to just be so good that it never misses. Like, How do you decide this is the book for me, and how do you decide when it's not working?
So great question. Two things. I'm not willing, or I'm more than willing to waste $15. So if I buy a book on Audible and I get through a chapter or not, I'm like, no problem. Like, books are insane value. Like, my favorite books, I'm not even kidding, I would pay $15,000 for, $20,000 all day long. Like, change my life. So $15, it's like I will burn $15 every day of the week if I don't like the book. Now, to get better at choosing books, I go to YouTube to look for book summaries. One of my favorite YouTubers is the Swedish Investor. That's the YouTube channel. And he does book summaries, amazing book summaries. And so I'll listen to a book summary, say like The Psychology of Money. Listen to the summary of the book. I'm like, oh, I love what, and then I'll buy the book. But also, like, on Audible, they have the sample. So if the author's tone, like, I don't like the guy's voice, I'm not buying it. But I look to people that I like Patrick Bet-David, Dave Ramsey, Alex Hormozi, Gary Vee. If they recommend a book and they say game-changing book, I listen to it. So that's
I love Gary Vee. What do you make of Hormozi? Because Hormozi's vibe is just like a little bit too much. It's just a little too much for me. But I get what he's doing, and you're a business coach too. So I'm wondering, what do you think of Hormozi?
I love him because content is tactical. He's using the Gary Vee strategy where he gives it all away for free, because his whole goal is to buy businesses. Like he sells books to buy businesses. So he's not trying to sell coaching. He's trying to give it all away so that he'll eventually have the opportunity to buy your business. Like Gary Vee. So I love Gary Vee. Gary Vee's the one that drove me to start the Tinstitute. We might get into that in a minute, but I listened to the book Crushing It. I listened to 2 books, Crushing It by Gary Vee, 2017, and .com Secrets by Russell Brunson. I literally, in the hot tub, shut the book. I was like, that's it. We're starting a company that has .com in the name. I want an internet company specifically. That's how it all started with the Tinstitute.
And what year was this? Just so I can get some context.
2017.
Okay, so not that long ago.
Yeah, so I was like, I want an internet company. So I know we're everywhere. I like this. If you're okay with it.
I'm fine with it.
I started, like, I'm running the tint shop. I convinced my wife to quit her career job where she was making $80K at 21 years old to come work for me and make no money. Wow. She wasn't my wife at that time. She was just my girlfriend. So the company she worked for was like laughing at her, like, okay, you're going to go work for your boyfriend at his tint shop. Good luck.
80K at 21 years old too.
Yeah, she got recruited right out of college.
Wow. Okay.
And this was in 2010. So adjusted for inflation, that's like 150, 160 probably, or something,
wild.
Something crazy.
Yeah.
But, and I told her, I was like, you're going to, if you stick with this corporate job or any corporate job, you're going to make way more than we're going to make for a while. But then you're going to hit at the top of the ladder and you're not going to make more than 250 basically ever. And if you come with me, we're not going to make 250 for a long time. But if you come with me, there will be no ceiling to how much we can make. And it took us 10, 12, maybe even 15 years to be able to confidently say, oh yeah, we make way more than we would if you worked at a corporate job. So like that all came true as far as, and I mean, she would tell you like, I couldn't make this much. I wouldn't like to make this much working a corporate job would be miserable. So, 2017, I'm in the hot tub. I'm listening to .com Secrets by Russell Brunson. I shut the book. I literally get out. I walk inside. I was like, that's it. We're starting a company that has .com in it. Like I really wanted an internet company specifically because I'm in a smaller area, San Luis Obispo, California, a couple 100,000 people on the coast. And I just was like, my mind got exposed to the fact that no matter what I do, I only have 200,000 people to market towards. Even the biggest company, which we are in our niche, is not that big of a company. Whereas if I have .com in my name and the company is based off the internet, we have 8 billion people to market towards, or more realistically, 4 billion that run on Instagram on a monthly basis, which that's insane. And I started to just run the mindset that if I could sell a $1 product to 1 million people, that's an amazing year. And that's a lot easier to do than to make $1 million tinting cars for only 200,000 people or only having that net. So that net to cast is what I mean, not net income. So anyways, I said, we're going to start an internet company. We could either do it about tinting or we can do it about working together. Because at that time, lots of people, we were already working together for a while. My wife graduated college in 2010, came to work for me in 2012. And then from 2012 to 2017, so we'd been working together for 5 years. People were asking us all the time, how do you guys do it? Like, I wish I could work with my wife. And then other people would be like, I could never do that. But like, how do you guys do it? Blah, 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 blah. So we're considering starting a company, just like the Tinstitute, but about couples working together. And like coaching people on how to work together as a couple and how we structure things and all that. And then we decided on tinting. Michaela, I remember like vividly her saying, you know what, let's do tinting because you're already an expert at that. She didn't feel as if we were experts at working together because obviously we still had, challenges, and we still have challenges, but we love working together. We wouldn't have it any other way. We don't complain about working together or anything like that. So we decided on tinting and we went all in on that.
So you're all in on the tinting business. Is that what your shop in California is also called, or is it the sign company, or is it the same thing?
Our shop in California is called Quality Tinting and Signs. When I bought it, it was quality window tinting. The only thing they offered was window tinting, exclusive window tinting, auto, marine, commercial, residential, but just window tinting. And then over the years, we've added tons of different services. I mean, we offer paint protection, wraps. We're a full service sign company. So we do large electrical signs, monument signs, braille signs. We do all types of signage, including trade show signage, tablecloths, backdrops, like anything signage we do.
What do you know about the detailing world and detailing businesses? I imagine you said you have some coaching clients who are in it. I wonder, are there similarities to tint and paint protection? And like, do you have some pieces of wisdom, or do you think that anyone who goes into it is silly or could make a lot of money? Like, I just want to know your perspective from where you sit in
It's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. It's the same as barber shops. It's the same as tattoo shops. It's the same as anything that doesn't have a high barrier to enter. Like, it doesn't cost a lot to get started. And I'm okay. I want to go back for a minute to your initial question.
Okay.
Like, what are some milestones that you have? I said that if I had 5 minutes to tell my kids, I would say, start listening to books.
Love it.
I would say for the first 10 years, I said I was willing to do anything to get ahead, but I was partying 5 days a week. Like, I wasn't willing to do anything to get ahead. I mean, I still got ahead. So I was doing enough to get to where I'm at, but I wasn't making as many sacrifices as I could have. Like, we went to Vegas all the time. We would party our faces off. I didn't sacrifice my 20s. I would stay up until 4:00 in the morning partying and then be at the shop at 7:30 to tint a car. So I could have made progress quicker, but I remember at that time it was a conscious decision, right? You have to make these decisions. I didn't want to, accumulate wealth and build success in my early 20s and then feel like I missed out on my 20s.
Yes.
So it was a choice. Everything, my whole life is 110% by design. We chose to not have kids until we were in our 30s. We chose to not have kids until we owned property. I chose to not have kids until I can afford having a nanny and having plenty of help, because my mom, as she raised us, she was really stressed out. My mom was an entrepreneur and she brought that stress home, which I don't blame her for it. I just wanted to do things differently. I want to have plenty of help, which we do. We have help everywhere. Like, our life is amazing. Because we waited, though. So
very intentional. I love that, though.
All by design. Like, nothing has been on accident in our life. I would tell anyone listening to this podcast, everything you need to know is in a book somewhere. You just have to find that book. Okay. And then I would tell people, be realistic with what sacrifices you're willing to make to get to where you say you want to be. Because I was guilty of saying, I want to be here, but my actions aren't matching what I'm saying I want.
So let's talk about doing what you say you're going to do, and self-discipline. I think those are two big things for you. I've studied some of your previous interviews and I was really struck by them. And I feel like you have a lot to say about that.
It's huge. Yeah. I mean, we could do a whole podcast on that. I have it tattooed on my chest. Talk is cheap. Actions are priceless. It's how I got my wife, even when I was broke, because my wife's a 10 visually and intellectually. She's literally, I mean, anyone would agree. That's not just my opinion. That's not just me being a nice husband. She's the top. She's ripped. She's smart. She's fun. She's the top. She's a 10 in every way, shape, or form. Anyone would agree. And what even adds to that is she doesn't want to be an alpha. She wants to be an alpha woman, but we don't have problems in our relationship because she wants me to lead in our home and in our business. There's not a pull for, well, why don't I get to be? And that's the problem with so many relationships is the guy doesn't do what he says he's going to do when he says he's going to do it. So the female in the relationship has to step up. And then there's a battle for alpha, for who's in charge. And this is not just for people that work together. This is just in most homes. So my wife's a 10. I got her because I follow through with what I say I'm going to do when I say I'm going to do it. And I tell people this that are dating. you can build so much trust with a woman, even on a first date, by just simply doing the small things that you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do them. So if we say we're going to have this podcast at 12:30, I'm going to be here at 12:25. If I say I'm going to pick you up at 10, I'm going to be there at 9:50. If I say I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick at the bar and I'll be right back, I'm not going to get caught talking to the homies halfway back. I'm going to come back. And now it's like, oh, wow, you actually do what you say you're going to do, which is super rare. And then you can build. So by the time I told my wife, if you come with me, there will be no ceiling, and eventually we'll make more than you make. She believed me because I already kept my word on all the small things. You have to, just like a ladder, you have to work your way up. But you start with literally what time you're going to pick her up for a date. It starts with these smallest things. But most people go, oh my God, is it really that big of a deal that I was only 5 minutes late? Yes. I mean, it's not if you don't want it to be a big deal. But how much trust do you want to build? So that's huge. Building trust. Talk is cheap. Actions are priceless. One of my core values is follow words with actions. My 4 core values are help others succeed, follow words with actions, take pride in your work, and never stop improving. Everyone on my team, every one of the 17 people on my team have to have those core values memorized. Help others succeed, follow words with actions, take pride in your work, and never stop improving. We also have to have memorized what we sell as an experience. We do that by making people feel good. Why? Because it makes us feel good and it's free. So that's our whole business model strategy, is to make people feel good. Why? Because most people don't focus on that, and it's free. That's the best marketing. It's free to make someone feel good.
How do you make your customers feel good?
Oh my God. So great question. But there's a million different ways to make someone feel good. But the most important thing is that it's custom. Unreasonable Hospitality. It's a book every business owner has to listen to. It talks about, like, Unreasonable Hospitality is about my business, my brick and mortar business. And a great customer experience is custom to that person. So it depends on what that person needs. Now, there's some things that we do for everyone. Like, we ask everyone if they would like something complimentary from the coffee shop across the street or the pizza parlor across the street. But it's custom to what that person needs. So if somebody pulls up right in front of one of our shop doors and says, is it all right if I park here? I go, absolutely. You're VIP. You can park wherever you want. Matter of fact, if you leave your keys in there, we'll park it for you. If somebody doesn't pull up right there and ask that question, no, they're not going to get that because they didn't need that. So it's going out of our way. Okay, here's the core. Okay. The core is that we put our team members that work here at Quality before our customers. My team is more important to me than my customers. That's for my customers' benefit. My team loves being here so much because we put them first that they actually want to serve my customers well. So if you've ever been on an airplane, they tell you how to put your safety vest on. They say, all guys, put your safety vest on first before trying to help any women or children, because you can't really help them if you don't help yourself first. So I adopted that and applied that to our business and said, we're going to put our team first for our team's benefit, but also our customers' benefit. Because when you walk in here, the energy in the room is that people actually want to be here. They're not scuffing their feet and wearing hoods and not interacting with customers and letting a customer walk right by them. No, they have energy. So to answer your question, how do you make customers feel good? Have positive energy. It's a super simple concept, like being in great shape. Everyone knows how to do it. Very few people do, right? Having positive energy every day is how we make customers feel good. Try to do that day in and day out with 17 people. That's the challenge. It's a simple concept, right? Intellectually, oh yeah, have high energy, be positive, act like you actually want to be at work. But to create that environment is a challenge. And that's why we have the 25 leadership hacks. So these are our deck of cards that we send out to everyone in our one-on-one coaching program. And these are the 25 leadership hacks that have changed our business. You pull a card out and you work on whatever that hack is. So I'll just pull one out here real quick.
Here we go.
This is don't gossip. Hack number 18. Don't gossip about customers and stay on top of your team for not engaging in negative banter about customers. Establish clear guidelines. Clearly communicate to team members the importance of confidentiality and professionalism when discussing customer interactions. If the information being shared is for entertainment purposes, it qualifies as gossip. Keep communication about customers objective, not subjective, and don't say anything you wouldn't be able to repeat right in front of them.
Wow. So you're not even talking about gossiping about team members to other team members. You're talking about the customers. Like that's a lot of respect for the customer.
And it's a lot of challenge and discipline. Everything, all the 25 leadership hacks go back to discipline, because it takes discipline as a business owner to not gossip about customers. It's tempting.
Another one that you talked about in a podcast that I listened to was, if you have a business with fewer than 20 team members, every 2 weeks when you pay them, you write them a little handwritten thank you note. Can you talk about that? Because that's got me thinking a lot. I'm an old school. I love handwritten thank you notes. I don't write them as often as I should, but I think they're beautiful.
So the one word that you're missing, respectfully, is specific. It's a handwritten specific thank you note. So it's not, hey, thanks for working so hard. That's not specific. It has to be something more specific, like, hey, thanks for Tuesday afternoon staying late when that red Honda Accord came in at 4:30. We really appreciate that. The number one thing team members want in the work environment is to feel appreciated and be respected. Money is like the third or fourth thing. If money was the top thing, they would go work for themselves and be entrepreneurs. The number one thing they want is to feel appreciated and be respected. So most team leaders, including myself for a long time, we lead through 80% constructive criticism and 20% through positive affirmations. We need to flip that. We need to lead 80% of the time. And by the way, this works with kids. I've got the two most well-behaved kids on the planet, I promise you. And they're 2 and 4. And they're so respectful and they make such good decisions. And this is why. Because we focus on leading 80% of the time through positive affirmations, meaning, great job picking that up. That was awesome how you picked that up. Hey, thanks for turning off that light. That was great how you, but most people get used to the good things because they expect it. So then they stop mentioning all the good stuff and they only mention the bad stuff. And so then people feel defeated, kids and team members feel defeated. And it's like, what's the point? I'm working my ass off. You only notice the negative things that I do, and it all goes downhill. So by writing this handwritten specific thank you note with every paycheck, the main thing that it does is it requires us as leaders to focus on what everyone's doing well. So when it comes time to write the notes, we have some stuff to write. So it shifts our minds to focus on what they're doing well. And by the way, that came from The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, the book. He shares a story in that book that his friend was having marriage trouble. And his friend decided to, for 1 full year, to keep a diary of one thing that his wife did that he appreciated or respected every day for a year. He started on Thanksgiving. He gave it to her on Thanksgiving the next year. And she said it was the most meaningful present she ever got. He kept it a secret all year long. And just one day, each day wrote down one thing that he appreciated or respected about his wife for a whole year, and then gave it to her as a Thanksgiving gift. And it gets into the nitty gritty. Like, there's nothing that's too small. Matter of fact, the smaller the thing, the better. So it's like, hey, thanks for Tuesday afternoon picking up that liner for George. I know you didn't have to pick it up. We really appreciate you not walking past things like that and taking the time to help clean up even when it's not your mess. Like, the smaller the thing, the better. It doesn't have to be this. It's actually, I said it perfectly. The smaller the thing, the better. You want your team to know that you notice the small things they're doing well, and they're going to do more of those things. So it's like, yeah, do more of that. Yeah, do more of that. Oh, that was awesome. Hey, thanks for getting new shoes. I love when you wear nice looking shoes to work. That's awesome. Oh, they like that?
Wow. Because I wonder about leading people in this generation. Have they gone soft and no one can take the criticism versus like the praise? And it's not that I have extensive experience. I had a technician as a detailer once, and then had a business partner. Anyway, it wasn't a super successful venture. I did the whole detailer journey where I started mobile, had a shop, then a bigger shop. Anyway, I'm not writing, a deck of cards in a book, and I'm not coaching people on how to run their businesses. It wasn't something that I felt like ultimately was successful, although it led me here, and now we have a product company, DIY Detail, we make videos. Life is good. But the journey, I learned a lot on the ups and downs, and I just, all I thought of was like, man, it's hard to manage people. I wonder how one does that well.
Yep. It's hard. It's challenging to lead people. That's the fun in it. But I think of like leading my team as like its own business, meaning I want to do it with strategy, and I want to be different than how my competitors are leading their team. I want my, just like in an intimate relationship, you want your girlfriend to break up with you, go get with another guy and have her think, God, it actually was better with Nick. That's what I want. If my team ever leaves here, I want them to be like, oh, you guys aren't nearly as organized as Quality was, and no handwritten thank you note. Yeah. This does suck.
Do they think it's like,
I want them to feel, I want the real goal is to have them not want to leave because they know that it's only down from here. That's true with my intimate relationship. I want my wife to know, like, I'm only going to downgrade if I leave. So we have to be so good as leaders, like we need to be as husbands, so that they have a little bit of fear of downgrading.
so doing what you say you're going to do, self-discipline. I think these are things that whether you're a business owner or just a man or a human, female, whatever. Can you talk about, there was that image that I heard you use about if there was like you tell your coaching clients, if there was a body camera on them all day, and they sent it to you, would you be okay with it? What is that whole concept about?
So what are you doing when no one's watching? Are you proud of what you're doing all day, every day? Super simple. Like I said earlier on, I would say, I want this, I want that. I want to, regardless of what it was at the time, I want to be a millionaire by the time I'm 25, but then going partying all weekend. That doesn't make sense. Like, do your actions align with what you're saying your goals are, or are they just wishes and dreams? So, someone that goes home, plops down on the couch, smokes weed, and then watches TV for 4 hours, is like, bro, you don't want it as bad as you say you do. Given that person's saying they'll do whatever it takes to get ahead. It's like, if you doing whatever it takes to get ahead, you're going to start a side hustle in the evening. You're going to be listening to a book. You're going to be eating healthy. You're going to be training. You're going to be surrounding yourself with like-minded people that can inspire you to be better. Like, not plopping down on the couch and watching TV, or staying up until 2 a.m. gaming, or whatever people do. I don't know what people do nowadays.
Because you're so old at 37.
Well, my life. No, I didn't mean it that way. I meant my life is so simplistic. Like, my wife and I like living minimalistic. Like, our house is always ready for sale. That's the way it looks inside, but my life is the same way. Like, so many people, like, I hear so many complaints from people that have families, like, oh yeah, we just take our kid from sport to sport, and we got this and we got that, and we got a birthday party this weekend, and life is so miserable because you have all these obligations. My life is minimalistic. I do the same thing every day, but it's what I love doing, and I say no to a bunch of stuff. Most people just don't ask me. Like, still, some people are still learning. Did you see this movie? It's like, I don't watch movies, bro. I don't play video games. I don't go do that much stuff. But what I do, I love doing. Like, here's my day. I wake up in the morning.
What time?
I wake up, I set my alarm for 3:30. So I'm allowed to snooze it 3 times, 3 10-minute increments, and I get up at 4. So I'm literally getting up out of bed at 4. I'm walking into the gym at 5. I'm walking out of the gym at 6. I'm inside my house, 6:15. I've been doing sprints lately on my driveway, but 6:15. Then I'm making breakfast, and then 7 o'clock, 7:15, I'm horseback for an hour. 8:15, I'm taking a shower, still spending some time with kids inside. You can't go inside and not spend some time with kids. And then I'm at the shop between 9:15 and 9:30. I'm at the shop from 9:30 to 4. I'm back home 4. And I'm back on horseback by 4:35.
So you have horses, you have land, and that's...
Yeah, I own a horse business.
Oh, okay. So on the side, you also... Well, I kind of knew that, but we didn't talk about it, so I don't know how to transition into that.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So anyways, I turned my hobby into a business. So I'm always working, right? I'm always working, but I literally turned my hobby into a business. And we can do a whole separate podcast on that, but I love that because I'm always working. So
A few months ago, I did see you on horseback. I'm like, this man never stops. So but I didn't even know. I hadn't asked you about it. I hadn't thought about it since. So I didn't know. But so is always working exhausting, or are you just doing the work that you love?
both, because I push myself, but I love it. So I want to get better at it. So like both, you know what I mean? I would lie if I did not say I'm tired.
Well, I guess the question is like, I believe I heard in your story you did try to start a clothing company at some point,
Yep.
and I my whole thing lately is like keep the main thing, right? So
For long enough, yes, keep the main thing for long enough. And when that's hard to know, but I moved too soon. We started a clothing company. We had a store downtown San Luis Obispo for 3 years. So we had a retail store. We got into other stores like in Vegas and other streetwear stores. It was a legitimate business. It broke even at best. That was prior to starting the Tinstitute.
oh, okay.
So I lost a little trust with my wife starting that. Okay, because it wasn't successful. So after that, I recovered from that. Like we sold off everything. It was done, washed our hands of it. About a year or two later, I say, okay, I want to start an internet company. She's like, oh God, here we go again. So yeah, that was between like 2012 and 2016. We started the clothing company, and it was too soon. It was too soon to start a second company. But now, like, I don't work inside my business anymore. Like I'm here at the shop, right? We have an elevated upstairs. So I'm upstairs. Shop is downstairs. Like I don't work literally inside the business anymore. Like for the longest time, I was the lead window tinter, then the lead PPF installer, then the lead wrapper. And I literally worked my way out of every position. At one point in time, I've done every position, well, all but one position at my shop. The only position I've never done is the design position, because God knows I'm never going to learn Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop. So like, but Michaela, my wife, was the designer for a while. So we've literally worked our way out of every position in the company.
What advice do you have to people out there who are listening and kind of dreaming of this life, right? They're maybe a technician, they've got their own mobile detailing business, maybe a shop. They've maybe seen you on Instagram and they're like, this guy has a lot to teach.
Okay, so this ties into your other question. Like when we start talking about detail shops, how are they similar to tint shops? What similarities do they have? Lack of strategy. Okay. If you need to know exactly what makes your shop different from your competitors, and it needs to be specific, that way you can tell your customers. What I can tell you is this: most people choose us because ... Most people don't know what makes them different. Your competition doesn't know what makes them different. So the customer is left to decide what makes these two shops different. And if the customer is left to decide, what do you think they're going to use as the differentiator? The price. So us as an industry, because of our lack of strategy, we've made it all about price. Indirectly, we've made it all about price. That's the only thing that most people know how to make it about, is the price. So I have two shops: Mint Window Tinting and Quality Tinting and Science. Okay? Two completely different business models. Here at Quality Tinting and Science, which is still my core business out of all my businesses, okay? Our specific differentiator is our 100% money back guarantee that says if you're not happy with the workmanship or the service, you simply don't pay. So you say, God, say I give you a quote, tint your Tesla, it'd be $520 out the door. And you say, geez, that's quite a bit more expensive than other shops I've called around. I would say, well, what I can tell you is this: most people choose us because of our 100% money back guarantee. And that guarantee says that if you're not happy with the workmanship or the service, You simply don't pay. And we like to do that because that's how confident we are that you're not only going to love the workmanship, but you're going to be excited about the experience as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Great. Let's get you on the schedule for next week. I got time Tuesday or Friday. What day works best for you? So I'm always going to put one of those 3 questions at the end of whatever I say. Does that make sense? How's that sound?
Oh, so, okay, those 3 questions?
How's that sound? Does that make sense? Does that sound fair? It has to go at the end of whatever you say. Does that make sense? Because you're going to answer, yeah, and then I'm going to just roll right into the close. Great. Let's get you scheduled for next week. I got time Tuesday or Friday. What day works better for you? And make it real hard. You go, oh, wait, no, I want to keep shopping around. Okay, so my other shop. We guarantee to beat anyone's price. And I can do that because we're only open at night. And because I'm open at night, it allows me to keep my day job. Therefore, I don't really need the money. So I could undercut everyone and pass the savings on to you. How's that sound?
So they think you're the guy who's doing it on the side? Or you are the guy? Wait,
what's the difference?
Well, you were saying that you're. I'm so confused. So you say
I have 2 shops, 2 separate shops, 2 phone numbers. I'm talking about 2 separate businesses. I own the most expensive shop in town, and I own the cheapest shop in town. So say you call Mint Window Tinting, and you're so shocked because the price is so cheap.
Oh, got it.
And you say, why are you so cheap? Like I just called around, they said 280, and you're saying 200? And I said, well, what I can tell you is this. The reason why we're able to beat anyone's price is because we're only open at night. We open at 5 p.m., we close at 8 a.m. What that does is that allows me to keep my day job. Therefore, I don't really need the money. So I can undercut everyone and pass the savings on to you. How's that sound? So look at what I do there. I'm the cheapest, but not because I'm starving and I'm broke. I'm the cheapest because I don't really need the money. It's just more of a side hustle for me. So I can undercut everyone because have plenty of money and pass the savings on to you. How's that sound? So I get to be in that strategy. I get to be the cheapest, but because I'm the most successful, basically.
Wow. And you actually are open from 5 to 8 in the morning.
Yeah. Mintwindowtinting.com. Check it up on Google. It says closed right now. We open at 5 p.m.
And you actually have a crew working all night?
No, it's at my house. It's me. It's at my house. It's me. I mean, if you go there right now, like Mint Window Tinting on Google, you will see my house. You'll see pictures. You'll see we have 63 Google reviews or something.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't do cars every single day because we're not focused on it that much. I do cars here and there, but a lot of times when Michaela, my wife, picks up the phone, most of the time she can honestly convince them to come here. Quality. But so I do cars there, but not like every single day. And people don't show up like they look it up on Google. You go, oh, it's at a house, not a creepy, weird house, not an apartment, like a legitimate, nice house. And by the way, when you look it up, you see my house, but you also see there's another business attached to that address, which is Rock Solid Horsemanship on Google. So it's like, okay, there's 2 businesses. It's out of a house. It's in like a ranchy area. So it makes sense. So people aren't knocking on my door at 9 p.m. like, hey, are you guys open for business? It just doesn't happen.
You never stop, do you?
So the point is though, strategy and specific differentiator. That's what we're talking about. Like every shop. Okay. I call shops lemonade stands that don't know what makes them different specifically. And they don't have an accountability system. Those 2 things put you in the 1% of all shops, not just auto restyling, mechanic shops, powder coating shops, anything that uses the terminology shop, mechanic shop, welding shop, shops. If you know exactly what makes you different and you have an accountability system for your team when they make a mistake, what happens? You're in the 1% of all shops. And that's just a matter of sitting down and thinking like you're in a boardroom of a corporate company and creating out of thin air an accountability system and a specific differentiator.
Any advice for creating an accountability system?
Be creative. Yes, tons of advice. This is what I do. Be creative, number 1. Number 2, don't look at the corporate accountability system. Don't look at corporate businesses. to come up with your ideas. Look at nonprofits, look at churches, look at Little League baseball team. This is where I got mine, by the way. Look at places where they don't fire people, right? Because in the corporate world, say Home Depot, a Lowe's, a Target, a Walmart, you make a mistake. You forget your apron. You're 15 minutes late. The traditional corporate accountability system is they pull you in the office. They give you a write-up. If you make that same mistake 3 times, you're eligible to be let go. Cool. That works to some extent because, for one, you know they have the resources to replace you. You're disposable, and you know that. For 2, you know they can run the store without you. They can fire you on the spot. No one cares. Plenty of money to go around. Not a big deal. You're not that valuable. In a shop, it's the exact opposite. They go, you ain't going to fire me. You don't have the resources. You're too busy you don't even have the resources to get leads. You're too busy to interview. I see the schedule, how many projects are next week. You're not going to fire me. Oh, and by the way, you usually, as a shop owner, don't do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it anyways. So even when you threaten me, I don't trust you, like my mom when she used to threaten to ground me for a month. Not my mom, but like parents do that, right? You're grounded for a month and then they don't follow through. That's how most shop owners are. It's like, you don't do anything you say you're going to do. You're not going to fire me. You're just mad right now. So don't all my ideas come from like looking other places. Like I got my accountability system from Little League sports. When a kid is late to Little League practice, what does the coach normally do? And I didn't even play sports and I know this.
I don't know. I guess it just would depend on the situation.
Well, like tell me a few things they would do then.
I mean, maybe they wouldn't play in the game, but maybe the parent had a thing, I don't know.
So from my experience, the coaches say everyone runs laps at practice. You guys all run laps, the whole team, or we're all doing push-ups, or you're benched. Yeah, you could bench them, and I've benched people before too, meaning just sent them home. But here's the thing. All great accountability systems either build culture and or the owner takes a hit too. Like when I send someone home, I will send someone home and do the work myself, which obviously sucks for me too. That just goes to show, hey, I don't want to do it either. It's like my mom, she used to like ground me. You know, we're going on a weekend vacation. She's like, you're grounded this weekend. And now the whole family's not going because you're grounded. And I'm committed to you being grounded. We had this vacation plan. The whole family's not going. So that means I'm sacrificing too so that you can be grounded to your room. So as a business owner, like a lot of times a good accountability system is going to suck for you too. And that's just good leadership because that's showing, hey, I don't want to send you home either. I'd love to have you tint the car. But even more than I don't want to send you home is I can't have you leaving tools in customers' cars.
Is that the second or third time it happens, or the first time? Like how do you?
That all depends on the situation and the leadership and how well you made the processes and procedures clear, and that all depends on how good they're performing too. Because let's face it, standout performers get more slack. Just plain and simple. We see that in professional sports. The standout players do whatever the hell they want. Everyone else falls in line with the rules, but you earn that by performance. We're a performance-based company, just like a sports team.
What about hiring your first guy or gal, whatever? You're a window tinter, and now you're trying to scale, and you hear Austin talking about it, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna hire the homie. I'm gonna like, how do you start to?
That's a mistake I made so many times. So I hired a homie, so to speak, once. But what I did so many times is I got too close with my team members and became friends with people I hired. Because here's what happened. Let's say you don't hire your homie. You just hire a gentleman that fills out an application. You hire him. You end up befriending him 9 times out of 10 as a small business leader because you're working side by side with him all day.
Yep.
You're immature. You're excited about all your ideas. You start sharing your ideas as if he's your friend. And before you know it, he becomes your friend, even if he wasn't your friend. So there's so many intricate challenges of being a leader of a small company. I mean, let's just be clear. In the United States, a small company is any company with less than 1,000 employees. So when I say small company, I use that terminology very vague. Like even a company with 25 team members is very small in the, ChatGPT definition. But when we're talking about cottage style businesses with 1 or 2 team members, there's so many more challenges than there are when the business gets bigger, especially when it comes to leadership. Like I can't spend one-on-one time with all my team members, even if I tried, because we have 17 of them. When it was just me and one other person, we would be like buddies within a month because I spent so much time with them and I wasn't aware of what I was talking about and the ramifications of sharing all my ideas and sharing all my thoughts and all my excitement and all this and that. So first things first, as far as to answer your question, you're not ready to hire someone if you don't know what your accountability system is, because it's much harder to implement an accountability system to an existing team that's not used to having an accountability system than it is to have one in place, interview someone and say, look, this is what we do. Like our interview process, onboarding process is so much different than it was 7-8 years ago. Like we actually have an onboarding process. The whole first day is just onboarding, going over process and procedures, getting them their jerseys, going over the shop, where things go, how things work, getting them someone to mentor them that's on our team, so on and so forth. So you're not even ready to hire someone if you don't know what makes you different, AKA your specific differentiator and or your accountability system. Because in a perfect world, when you're hiring them, you say, look, just so you know, this is how we hold people accountable. Is that going to work for you? They're going to say, yeah, every single time. Now, in our company, we do a full working interview. So if somebody's interviewing, they come in and they work a full day, paid working interview. And on that day, we're for sure going to hold someone accountable just so they can witness it and see it. And I could always find a reason to hold someone accountable.
Really? Can you give me an example of what that would look like? You got the guy in for the interview and then someone else is held accountable.
So we have a morning huddle every morning. That's one of the 25 leadership hacks, is to have a morning huddle every morning. And, I can give you the framework of what goes down in the huddle. But one of the things that we do in the huddle is we hold people accountable. And what that looks like, if Nick made a mistake, say as small as leaving a tool in a customer's car yesterday, customer had to come back a half hour later and said, hey, you guys left this spray bottle in my car. You, Nick, have to choose someone else on the team to do a max out set of push-ups for you. You don't have to do anything other than choose one of your team members to do a max out set of push-ups for you. And then that person does the push-ups in the huddle and we all root for them, and it really builds our culture.
Okay. That doesn't sound too bad.
It doesn't sound too bad, especially when you realize push-ups aren't really bad for you. They're a good thing for you.
Right.
And it's normal because during the working interview, we show it's not normal, or it's normal for us here in our culture. It's not weird in our culture. In some cultures, it would be completely weird.
Yeah.
They don't have that culture.
So Austin, if folks want to get that deck, if they want to learn more from you, what do you offer? Where can they go? I realize there's so many different topics that we could talk about, but that folks may just learn more if they're interested in kind of tapping into some of your coaching.
So best place would probably be the Tinstitute.com. The second best place would be DMing me on official Austin Cook.
On Instagram.
Yeah, on Instagram. Or our YouTube channel, the Tinstitute.
What platform do you feel like has made the biggest difference in your life? Like Instagram?
Definitely Instagram. Definitely
Instagram.
Like for our business, for sure, Instagram.
What and then maybe to end it, like I just like this question. It's kind of a basic one, but is there like the best piece of advice you've ever received?
That I've ever received? Ooh.
Yeah.
Focus on doing things that you can do one time and get paid over and over and over again. That's what I would encourage. That's what I do encourage everyone to do. That's what I focus on doing. That's how you're going to scale. And that's So, are we on a time crunch here?
No, we're
Okay.
good.
One thing I'm teaching my son right now is the best way to make a lot of money. And he repeats back to me, what's the best way to make a lot of money? And he repeats back to me, help a lot of people. The best way to make a lot of money is to focus on helping a lot of people. A lot of people is not 5,000 people. A lot of people is not 500,000 people. You can't help a lot of people as a brick and mortar tint shop that only does brick and mortar work, so to speak. You're doing 5 cars a day. That's not a lot of people. I mean, and what is a lot? It's relative to how many people are in the world. There's 8 billion people in the world. There's 4 billion people on Instagram. Like, help a lot of people is the best way to make a lot of money. So with that thought, focus on doing things that you can do once, even if they take longer, and get paid over and over and over and over again. That's what I do. That's how I've been able to build wealth. That's what I want to help people do. And by the way, when you do that, it's also more fulfilling. So it's a win-win. Like, I'm focused on actually helping people, tinting their car, detailing their car. We know the customer doesn't put a high value on it. The car's going to get dirty again. They're not even going to have the car, statistically speaking, for more than 3 years. It's not that important. Like, I'm in this business, you guys, but the truth is it's not that important on the importance scale. If I could encourage someone to start working out and they start working out for the rest of their life and they live longer and they're able to play with their kids better and they're able to take their shirt off at the pool and feel confident, like, that's life changing. If I can encourage someone to start saving $1 a day and they get to be 60 years old and realize that they can live comfortably and don't have to live in fear, that's life changing. They're not even going to remember the car they had 30 years ago. So everyone has the ability to do this, by the way, with social media. And that's what the book Crushing It really talks about, which is why I went all in on building a personal brand. Everyone's thinking, like, what can I do once and get paid over and over and over again? The oldest thing, what's the best way to say this? The oldest thing is writing a book, right? You spend 2 years writing a book.
Yeah.
You perfect it. You're done. You can sell that book over and over and over and over and over and over again. So that's the beauty of doing content like this. Like, when we're done with this podcast, you'll have this podcast forever. There's a chance that people will be watching this after we both die, especially if we both die tomorrow. But even if we both die 30 years from now, there's a chance that this might go on and your kids might own this YouTube channel and they might get royalties off this YouTube channel from a video you did years ago. So anyone in the brick and mortar business model, I suggest don't do one more car without filming it, because the video you get forever. And that's what the Tinstitute is based upon, is let me start. I'm already tinting the car. Let me just film it. Now I have something to show for that car that I did forever. Let me post it and create revenue from that video forever. And literally YouTube videos that I did years ago, we still get paid on. Not a lot, but we get paid on something. And so passive income is like this mythical thing we hear about. There's no such thing as really passive, like truly passive, where you don't have to do anything. But there's levels of passiveness. Like, our rental properties are considered passive income, but we still have to manage them. We still have to go, fix sprinklers and things of that nature. And then, but like a YouTube channel is like even more passive, especially if you did videos, 5 years ago that are still collecting views and you're still getting checks from.
Did you feel comfortable on camera? Like, how did you start getting on camera and making videos?
If I felt comfortable on camera, I probably wouldn't have done it, because I probably would have realized that everyone's going to do it. I try to do what most people aren't willing to do. So the fact that I was uncomfortable and am uncomfortable on camera excites me about doing it. Like, I just got hired today, 5 minutes before this podcast, to speak at WFCT this year in Reno. For the first time ever. It's the first time I'm doing it's not a keynote, actually. I'm opening up for the keynote speaker. Okay. Obviously, I'm going to be nervous. Cool. That's why most people won't do it. Like I run towards the things that make me nervous because I know if they make me nervous, they make everyone else nervous. And that's my opportunity to be different.
What do you make of ChatGPT and AI and how it might change how consumers find your business, or what comes to mind when I bring up either of those? Dude, you can go anywhere with this.
When you say chat, I want to interrupt you and go, game changer, changed my life already. Changed my life already. Not going to, not in the future, already changed my life. Massive in so many different ways, but in the way that you're thinking of, I use it probably 50, 75 times a day. And now there's just, go ahead.
Oh no, I just stopped being like the Luddite about it and just started opening up to it and stopped pushing it away like it can't happen, it's evil. And I just started opening myself up to ChatGPT. I've been using generative AI in Photoshop for a while, but man, ChatGPT, anyway. I just want to hear how it's changed your life.
Here's how I think of it. I think of it as a tool. So think of a hammer. We all have a hammer, right? For one, we don't think of it as cheating to use a hammer to build a house. For two, we all have a hammer, but I know for a fact I cannot use a hammer as well as a framer who frames houses all day, every day. So just because you and I both have ChatGPT does not mean that you can use it as good as I can. And it doesn't mean that I can use it as good as you can. So don't think that like you use ChatGPT. There's so many different levels of prompting ChatGPT. Just like there's so many different levels of using a hammer. A hammer is a basic tool that everyone has, but why can't you frame a house? How come your nail goes sideways on the second hit 9 times out of 10? And again, we don't think of it as cheating when you use a power tool. Like I'm sure when power saws first came out, the guys that were still using their old school saws were like, oh man, that's cheating. But now we don't think of like, oh bro, you're using a power tool. No, that's stupid. It's who can use the power tool the best now. So it's absolute game changer, dude. It's insane. Like, especially when I talk about creating things that you can sell over and over and over again. It's never been easier to create a digital product. Like I sell information. That's the number one thing that we sell is information. Why? Because to ship information is free. It's an email. To stock information is free, meaning I don't need a big warehouse. I need a link to a course, to an information product. Whereas when you're selling tools, you have inventory issues, you have supply issues. The guy in China is not getting back to you anymore. We're out of the tools. Like these lights that we create, we constantly have inventory issues because they sell out so fast. So by selling information, which is what I'm most passionate about, because here's the thing, just back up. I'm in one of the worst business models, AKA anything brick and mortar, horrible, hard to scale. And then I'm in the best business model, which is the information business model. It's free to ship. It's free to stock. Okay. Like when we build a course, it's a link and I send it through email, which is free. Amazing. I make it once. I just sell the same link over and over and over and over again. Well, now with AI, anyone has the ability to create digital products. You can create a cookbook using AI and prompt it well. I want a Mexican cookbook. I don't want to use any authentic meat. I want it to be all vegan Mexican. I want every meal to be less than 200 calories and for sale, you have it. That's not cheating. That's using your head. Because again, if you just make a basic cookbook, obviously it's not going to sell that well, but it's how you prompt it. And it's why did you want Mexican meals that are less than 200 calories that aren't using authentic meat, that are using, whatever vegan stuff. So yeah, super passionate about AI, huge opportunity for everyone. But here's the thing about digital products, okay? You can create an amazing digital product that's worth its weight in gold. But if you don't have an audience, you're going to have to run ads to sell that digital product. and the business, once again, is going to be very challenging. So step number one, if you want to model what I'm doing, is commit to building an audience so that you have people to sell your products to without having to run ads.
I think organic is the best way to grow. And I'm not even mad when I watch YouTube videos in any genre now and they've got something to sell and they pause and they've got something to sell. I'm like, I get it. I get it. Because you're watching this on YouTube Premium with no ads usually, and then they'll do the little mid-roll thing. I'm like, I get it. This is the way these things work. You've got something to sell. I admire what you're doing.
And especially when you realize, or when I realized, that I actually am influenced just like any other human. If someone I like recommends something, I'm more likely to buy it. If I don't like you or I don't know you, I might fast forward through the ad and what you're selling. But like, I really listen to people I admire and am influenced by. So influencer marketing is huge. Like for me personally, as a buyer.
Who are you listening to right now? Whether it's a YouTuber or an author that it's really got you excited, or you're just like, man, this person is making an impact in my life.
So for one, Russell Brunson, the same guy that got me excited about the Tinstitute in 2017. It's come full circle and we're just going all in on his content. And then there's a book that I'm really just going in on as far as listening to it multiple times. And I'm going to pull it up right here. The Daily Stoic.
I love The Daily Stoic.
So I'm really like intrigued and want to like study Stoicism.
Yeah. Ryan Holiday.
That's like on the personal development side, but on the business side, it's Russell Brunson right now.
Okay.
And Alex Hormozy. Like I said, I love Alex Hormozy because his content is tactical. He'll tell you what to go do. It's not like I'm hinting at what to do so that you buy my program and then I sell. That's not his strategy. And he's been open about that.
So I can rethink my thoughts on Alex Hormozy as just maybe it is super tactical. I think one thing he's like, F these morning routines. I just get up, take some nicotine gum, put my headphones on, and I just work. You want a morning routine? Screw that. I got 3 hours of work done before, whatever. And I was like, actually, yeah, that does make a lot of sense. And the dude's jacked and he's killing it. And yeah, he does. You're right. He's offering tactical advice, which I can appreciate. What about Grant Cardone? You a fan of Grant Cardone? Or is he kind of a scandal? Is he in the wake of scandal now?
So I'm not a fan, but I'm not a hater. Okay. I'm never a hater on anyone, honestly, by the way. Like anyone. Because it's their strategy. It's like, I don't eat McDonald's, but I don't hate on them. Their strategy is low income people that don't care about money and, put a high value on convenience. That's their strategy. It's not for me, but that's their strategy. Like, I don't hate on McDonald's. I don't hate on nicotine companies. It's like, if you're dumb enough to smoke something that says will cause cancer in big block letters, then so be it. Take their money. Same thing with cereal. It's like, if you're dumb enough to buy, Lucky Charms for your kids, then you deserve to be fat. That's how I look. I'm like hardcore capitalist.
Dude, I grew up eating that stuff. It's hard now. It's like, man, you look at the ingredients on those cereal boxes and it's like, there's got to be a better way, But I know a lot of people.
There is other healthy choices.
Yeah.
And so anyways, I'm not a hater on anyone, but no, I'm not a fan of Grant Cardone. Yeah.
His 10X rule got me just to realize, like, if I wanted to go after something, I'd have to work 10 times harder than I thought, or like 100X. And he had this little bracelet that I wore called "Don't Be a Little Itch Bay."
Mm-hmm.
And that just was like good for me at that point in my life to I'd never started a business before. So for a moment in time, he kicked me, gave me a kickstart that I kind of needed. So he was a helpful, influential voice for me at a certain time in my life,
Absolutely.
Which is a lot of these guys like Gary Vee or Alex Hormozy or Ryan Holiday. Like, they kind of meet you where you're at the right times. And if they don't, they kind of fall away.
Oh, and 100%. By the way, I could totally learn stuff from people that I'm not fans of. Basically, a fan to me is like, I want to model what they're doing. But like, I still learn stuff from Grant Cardone. I'm still like, ooh, I see what you did there. I like that. That was smart. But like, I guess a fan is someone, like, when I think of myself being a fan of someone, I'm basically saying that I would like to switch lives with them. Like, I admire them, like, in almost every way, if not every way. Like, I'm a fan of Dave Ramsey. I'm a fan of Patrick Bet-David. I'll tell you who I'm fans of. I'm a fan of Russell Brunson, for what I know of him. I don't know as much about him because I honestly don't see his social media content that much. I see his books, and he runs ads a lot because he's the ad, like, he runs sponsored ads, but I don't even know if I follow him, like, his personal page. He doesn't post a lot of personal content, but I'd say Patrick Bet-David and Dave Ramsey are the first two guys that come to my mind that I would love to switch lives with, like, whole lives. And I agree with, like, everything they say and do and look and the way they present themselves and everything.
Dave Ramsey is a legend, man. I'd like to meet that guy one day.
Mm-hmm.
I did the whole debt-free journey, and it was great. The money snowball, and I think he's a genius.
Yep, I listened to him religiously for 10 years. Did not miss a show. I listened to multiple shows. When I got done listening to the show, I just play it again.
Yes.
And by the way, that's a good example of, like, the tonality and the entertainment factor of, like, the radio show. Now he has so many Ramsey personalities. He's, like, rarely on the show. But back in the day, like, from 2010 to probably, honestly, 2018, 19, I didn't miss a show. Like, I love his content. But even still, I see, like, his strategy. And, we have debt on our rental properties, and we didn't buy all of our rental properties free and clear. And, in today's day and age, you have to be able to look through the blinds and see all aspects of what's going on. And so it's important to be able to take a little bit from every person and build your own plan. You can't just for instance, Alex Hormozi might be saying F morning routines because everyone's talking about morning routines. So that separates him. I don't think he thinks that waking up early, there's no value in that. I think he just thinks that for marketing purposes, he could go the other way and say, you don't need a morning routine. And people go, oh, I connect with this guy because I don't want to have to wake up early. So I like this guy. He's on my team. Finally, a successful person telling me I don't need to wake up early. So,
well, I don't even know if he says don't wake up early. I think it's just grounding and the meditation and then the this and the ice bath and it's like, just get to work, right? That's what he said. I remember just one video. It was just like, get to work.
Yeah. But it's all the same thing. To get to work takes discipline. To do an ice bath takes discipline. Either way, you're making yourself do something that the little bitch voice on your shoulder is trying to talk you out of. You're justifying, oh, I'll go to work as soon as I get my coffee. I'll go to work as just one last thing. I just take the trash out real quick. It's all about doing what you don't want to do. That's it. Like, that's the challenge. And that's where confidence comes from.
I love it. Well, man, I had such a good time chatting with you. I do have to run and pick up my kids from school. I know you got stuff to do. But
no, that was a great podcast. I'm excited to be a part of it, and I appreciate you having me on.
Austin, I appreciate your time, sir.
Likewise. Let's talk soon, okay?
All right, brother.